We're working on this 69 Mustang Mach 1, and you'd think it would be simple just to add air conditioning to this car, but it's rather complicated. So it has no air conditioning in it right now, but we're getting ready to put some AC in there so that the driver can enjoy this in all this Texas heat. So the first thing that we have to do is to start fitting parts to make sure that everything fits before we paint it, clean it, and install it. So here is the air compressor that actually pumps the Freon through the system, and it has a bracket, and you can see part of it right here and way under here, that holds this compressor to the engine. Unfortunately, the power steering pump, which is below it, also interfaces with that, and guess what? The bolt didn't line up from the power steering pump to the compressor bracket. So we took the compressor bracket over to the fabrication area and resized that hole and moved it some so that this would line up, because the compressor, the power steering pump, instead of sitting straight like this, was kind of cattywampus like that. And what that would cause is this belt right here that drives the power steering pump to flop off, or wear the edges off of it and eventually break. So we've got that fixed. The next thing that we did was install the front piece, which is called the condenser. You notice that we've covered it with cardboard so that we don't do any damages to it, but we fit it into, with these brackets, into the area that it fits into, right in front of the radiator. The condenser is the high pressure side, and actually the Freon comes out of the compressor and goes to the condenser, and then back from the condenser into the car where the air conditioning turns cold. Now that's the other area that we're working on, and it's real extensive on this car. We have removed the entire dash on this car so that we could get the old heater out of the car, but also to be able to work on the dash to install the factory vents so that it looks like this car came from the factory with air conditioning. In the process of all this, guess what? We found some wiring, if I can get a good picture here, that had been hacked around on. So we are now taking another tack and working on the wiring to make sure that it's actually cleaned up and hooked up. We found the radio was hooked into the hazard switch for the hazard lights. So we're fixing all of that. Then we'll get that all back together. Now the next step that we're doing is working on this dash. This is the dash out of that Mustang, and you can see right here's where the AC vents should go. Here's the vent that goes in that hole, and we're laying it out right now in the dash so that there's one here and one on the other side right here, and then there's a whole new bezel and parts to go here, and we've got the vents for this. And oh, by the way, the vents for this are extremely difficult to find. So we'll get that done, and then we can start installing the dash. Now after it's all done, guess what? We have to then put Freon in it. And this is the machine that we use to put Freon in the AC system so it'll cool. This one's made by Robinair. I've had it for years. I bought it from Matco, as you can see. It's somewhat sophisticated, just complicated enough that most of us old guys like me don't know how to do it unless I really look at it real hard, because I don't use it that much myself. But my guys can do it real quickly. So once that's all done, this will all be back together, and he'll have a Mustang that will be in great shape and cool as he drives it down the road. I'm Barry Wilson with Wilson Auto Repair. If you want to see more videos or pick up information about tools or parts, go to my website, wilsonauto.com. I've been at this location 40 years.